The loudest bloke in the transport office is almost never the smartest. You know the type, mate. Always shouting his mouth off, always got a massive opinion on every single route, every tacho law, and every motor in the yard. But they are usually just making noise. The cleverest drivers are the ones sitting quietly in the corner of the canteen, eating their bacon rolls, waiting for the right moment to speak and actually listening. I used to think I was a brilliant listener. It turns out I was just being polite. I'd nod my head, hold eye contact, and throw in a "yeah, totally, mate" every now and then. But inside my own head, I wasn't listening at all. I was just waiting for my turn to speak. You probably do the exact same thing. Almost everyone does, which is why most conversations in this country feel like two people taking turns presenting completely unrelated lectures at each other. Then I learned what active listening actually is. It isn't some watered down version of just paying attention. It's a real psychological skill with proper techniques. 3 of them specifically. And once I started using them in the yard and at home, people started telling me things they hadn't shared with anyone in years. Dodgy secrets, family struggles, the real stuff. And the weird part was, they thought I was a much more interesting bloke, even though I was barely saying a word. The first tool is to paraphrase what you've just heard, but do not parrot it back like a daft bird. Say another driver in the yard is letting off steam. He says, "I've been absolutely killing myself on these multi-drop runs all week, and the transport manager still hasn't said a single thank you. I feel completely invisible." Most people would respond with their own story about a bad shift or jump straight into giving advice. "Oh, you think that's bad? You should have seen my run to Leeds." Do not do that, mate. Instead, you play their own thought back to them in your own words. You say, "So you're putting all this heavy graft in, and it feels like the office doesn't even notice you're doing it." That's it. One simple sentence. It sounds almost too simple, but the other bloke will virtually melt. Because for once in his life, someone has actually confirmed they understood his struggle instead of hijacking the conversation to talk about themselves. And even if you get his feelings slightly wrong, he will gently correct you. And now you're both on the exact same page anyway. It is almost like cheating. The second tool is to show that you are actually present in the room. This is the one people miss the most. You can be listening perfectly inside your own head, but if your face looks like a blank brick wall, the other person will assume you don't care. They'll wrap up the story early and they'll stop sharing the real stuff. Small physical signals do most of the heavy lifting here. A nod and an mm-hmm at the right moment. Raised eyebrows when something actually surprises you. Leaning in slightly when the conversation gets serious. And here is the most important part. When they finish speaking, do not immediately jump in with your mouth open. Pause, just for one single second. That tiny, quiet pause tells them that you actually thought about what they just said, instead of just waiting for them to shut up so you could speak. People only open up when they feel completely safe. And those tiny physical signals are what create that safety in a conversation. Skip them, and your chats will stay superficial forever. The third tool is the heavy one. Label the emotion you are hearing, not the topic they are talking about. Focus on the feeling underneath the words. If a mate is talking about a brutal week on the road, you say, "That sounds exhausting, mate." If your missus mentions an upcoming weekend away, you say, "You seem really excited about this one." If a coworker tells you a delivery went completely sideways, you go, I bet that was incredibly frustrating. When you do this, they feel understood on a deeper level than they have all month. Sometimes they didn't even know what they were feeling until you named it for them. And they walk away from you feeling lighter, even though you didn't actually solve their problem. But here's a massive warning. And I'm only telling you this because I learned it the hard way on the road. The second you become a good listener, people in the yard will smell it, and some of them will absolutely abuse it. They will dump every single personal drama they have on your shoulders every single week and never once ask how you are doing. Do not let yourself become the yard's unpaid therapist, mate. Nobody tips, and it will drain your battery fast. Reserve this skill for your family, your close mates, or for the moments that actually matter. The thing that ties all of this together is that you have to actually care, even just a little bit. People can tell the difference between a clever technique and genuine curiosity. You make more friends in 2 months by being genuinely interested in others than you will in 2 years trying to make yourself sound interesting. Use one of these tools in your next conversation and watch how the yard changes. If this bit of psychology helped you, drop a like on the video. Subscribe for more honest tales from the tarmac and proper advice. And let me know in the comments. Who is the loudest mouth in your yard, and have you ever tried listening past the noise? Look after each other out there. Listen before you speak, and keep the shiny side up. Over and out.